Howdy everybody. I got a new video here from the cooling system, fabrication, mounting, coming up with a plan to cool the thing off, cool off the beast. We're gonna go over the water pump alternator configuration, the radiator configuration. This is a starting point. I'm sure that down the road I'm gonna have to make changes. Right now I just really want to get this thing running. And so I have put this together. It should be adequate for the moment, and then we will upgrade and improve in time in the future. But for right now, let's see how this goes. So without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, y'all, I want to show you I was putting the electrical parts on, and I started putting like the coil on and the alternator. I've got the alternator mounted, and I realized I've still got to mount the alternator on the front of this thing and run a belt on it and all that. So I just went ahead and put all that together while I had it apart. I did that before I put the front end on, because as you can see, there is not much room in there for any of this. Let's see if I can show you so here's the alternator, and there's the pulley, and it's highly underdriven, so it won't spin so fast. And matter of fact, it's bigger than the pulley for the crank and then the alternator. But I just got one belt running all three. Mounted there. Now this water pump is not the water pump that I started with. I did replace this with a new water pump, then the stock housing, all that. The original water pump I was using was this one, and I'm sure you remember this, seeing this in some of the pictures. And this is a kind of a cool piece, but not as functional. My experience was that it wouldn't keep the motor cool. The hole, I mean, what is that? I want to say that is a 10 AN fitting, I believe, something like that. And it had a remote pump mounted to the frame that you used. It just wouldn't keep the motor cool, and it would work fine for drag racing, but this is a street application, and needed to be more. So I put this on here, and this bar is going to have to go. I've got to get rid of that. I'm just going to have to come up with some kind of a mounting system for this front end to tie it all together, and I'm going to cut this back as far as I can to try to get a radiator in that area right there in the front, and cooling fans, which should be a chore, but we shall see. So anyway, that's where we are, and there's the headers also. And I like that exit point. I'll put a flange around that body for that hole to where it looks right. I just took my plasma cutter and whacked it out so I can get the fenders bolted back on. And yeah, I'm going to have to do some trim work around the edge of this. But anyway, that's it. More to come. Okay, everybody. I've got the cooling system worked out. I made some bracketry, some slide-on pieces here that the radiator hanger is going to slide down on. They're welded onto these brackets that hold the front end on. I wanted the radiator to stay on the car if I pulled the front end off, just for ease of working on it. So if you needed to, I don't know, change a camshaft or something big, you could pull the front end off without having to dismantle the cooling system and drain the cooling system and all of that. Anyway, that's where these are. I had this radiator. I've had it for 20 years, 30 years. Don't even remember what it come off of, but I just remember I saved it. And looking at the part number, it looks like it is a, there it is right there, turn this around. Looks like it's a, what is that? 63, let's see if I can read this. 3673904. That's what that is. And looking at that part number, it's a Chrysler number. This is a Chrysler radiator. It's got the logo on it. I have called parts houses and nobody can cross-reference it. It looks to me like it's a 6-cylinder radiator, or maybe a V8 radiator off of a Dart, A-body, butt duster, Dart, something like that. But nevertheless, it fit pretty close to fitting. I had to take the tubs, the headlight tubs out here, and I'm going to have to modify them to clear the radiator, but it's just on one side, and they're considerably bigger than the headlight itself, so I feel like I can do that. Take the side off of them. And the radiators, I've checked it, it don't leak. I mounted these little tubes here, square tubes on both sides for those to slide down onto those pegs. And I've ordered 2 small cooling fans that are going to mount here and here on the back side of the radiator. I'm saving the front side here because in the event this is not a cool enough radiator, won't run cool enough, I'll have room for a thicker radiator to go on it. So anyway, let's see if this slides on like it should. There, okay. Alrighty, so there you go. It's on there, and I promise you, that was not the way that went. That was the finished product. I had to work on these tubes to match them up because they're running on parallel planes, and if you got any little bit off, it's going to be a nightmare. And they're very precise. Those tubes, I started to use round tube, but these are very precise tubes, and they're holding real good. And you see how close the radiator is to the water pump pulley. The fan should go like here and up here, and I think it's going to be fine. I've checked hood clearance for the radiator cap. That's going to work. What else? I got transmission lines to run to it. I'm going to run a cooler on the transmission, to the transmission separate to, either separate or in addition to the regular cooling for the radiator. And I took the inner fenders out. I want to show you this. I don't know if you've seen these or not. Let's just see. I don't remember if I showed you these or not. But I made these rings out of some of that copper aluminum, and I think they look pretty good. I'm going to, obviously, I didn't just put a few rivets in there to hold them, and they tighten up that hole real nice. It's like that on both sides. I got to close that one off, fill it back in, and that probably will be it for sheet metal work. I think it's time to get on to some wiring, and I have it. Man, let me tell you, I got a battery. I got All sorts of goodies here. I mean wiring. I got some serious wiring here. Relays, bus bars, cable to run to the front from the back. And now I've got all my electric stuff that I'm going to have to run it to, I believe, in place, except for maybe the distributor. And of course I can leave a in for that alternator. Put the fans will be going here, and I'm going to leave an extra wire for the water pump, because eventually I want to change this maybe to a electric water pump, but right now I'm using that. Alrighty. Well, let me see something. Let me put the aluminum back in there and give you a real look-see at that. Alrighty, there is the aluminum inner fenders. They're in there. They're not riveted or bolted in or nothing, because I'm gonna have to take them out to run the wiring underneath them. And I just leave them loose like this and just take them in and out. And that tidies up that compartment a ton. I mean, a ton. So anyway, that's it. Cooling system's done. I got to put some hoses on it, but I ain't gonna worry about those till yet later. I think it's gonna be good. This is the front, and you see the headlights, the way that they spill over into the headlights, the radiator does. But I'm 99% sure I can make that work. Matter of fact, I might even put LED headlights in it, which I'm sure ain't gonna be nearly as deep as that. And then the blinker assembly goes in from outside. Everything comes in from the front. Radiator looks good on there, and that just turned out to be the ultimate perfect size. Alrighty, now we start with the wiring.
Okay, well, that's the cooling system in place, radiator, water pump, alternator, all the belt and all that. Editing this has given me a headache. I've got some computer issues here I've got to figure out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but at least I can get this video finished up, and I hope it turns out good. If it don't, I'll remake it. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we got more to come. Thanks for watching.